You know, in the world of AI, a single year can feel like an entire decade. And right now, as we're looking at the world in late 2025, we are right in the middle of this huge shift. We're going way beyond just asking AI for answers. We're starting to actually give it a job. So let's dive in and break down what this new agentic workforce is all about.
And really, this one idea, it's the key to understanding everything that's happening right now. For the longest time, we've treated AI like a consultant, right? We ask it a question, it spits back an answer. But now, we're starting to treat it like a full-blown employee. We give it a goal, a spot on the team, and let it run.
So if AI is getting a brand new job, what exactly is in the job description? Well, it's a role that requires a totally new kind of automation, one that's a whole lot smarter than the simple if this, then that stuff we're all used to.
And that brings us to the star of the show, Agentic AI. Look, this isn't about an AI following a rigid script you wrote for it. No way. This is about giving an AI a goal, an outcome you want, and then giving it the freedom to think, to reason, and to act all on its own to make it happen. It's the huge difference between giving someone step-by-step instructions and actually delegating the whole task.
Here's a great way to think about it. Traditional automation, it's basically a vending machine. You press button B4, you get a specific bag of chips. It's predictable, sure, but it's totally rigid. Agentic AI, on the other hand, it's like having a really capable assistant. You don't tell them every single move to make. You just say, hey, I'm hungry, can you get me a snack? And they figure out the rest, even if the first thing they try doesn't work out.
Okay, let's make this real with something I call the coffee test. A simple automation might just ping you at 8 a.m. every day. But an agentic system? Oh, it understands the real goal, which is make sure I have coffee when I need it. So it learns your habits. It checks your calendar and sees you have an early meeting, so it adjusts. It sees you're burning the midnight oil and asks if you want an evening brew. It even keeps an eye on your coffee beans and orders more before you run out. See? It's not just following a rule. It's actively managing an entire outcome for you. Now, this kind of intelligent action sounds incredible, right? But for a long time, it was kind of a developer's nightmare. You had all these different tools and AI models, and none of them spoke the same language. It was chaos. But that's all changing. And it's thanks to a new universal standard that's basically become a translator for the entire AI industry. And this is the absolute game changer. You remember the chaos, right? Every phone, every gadget had its own stupid little plug. Then USB-C came along and fixed everything. Well, the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is basically the USB-C for AI. It's one single, open standard that lets any AI model plug into any tool. Just like that. And listen, this wasn't some small niche thing happening in a corner. We are talking about a massive, historic moment back in December 2025. I mean, in just a couple of days, the Linux Foundation launched a whole new foundation for this, and boom, every single major player you can think of, OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Anthropic, they all jumped on board as founding members. The whole industry basically decided overnight to build the universal roads for this revolution.
So what does this actually mean for people building things? Well, it's an absolute explosion of speed and flexibility. Developers don't have to worry about getting locked into one company's ecosystem anymore. You can build an integration one time, and you know it's going to work with any major AI model, not just today, but in the future too. This is the very thing that's fueling the fire of innovation we're seeing right now.
Okay, so we've got the big idea, we've got the universal tools, but what's the payoff? What does this all actually add up to? Let's look at the real-world numbers and see how these agentic workflows are changing the game for productivity. Let's start with the one thing we all want more of: time. On average, we're seeing enterprise users get back nearly an hour every single day. And for the heavy users, that can jump to over 10 hours a week. I mean, think about that. That's not just a little productivity boost, that is genuinely transformative.
And we're not just talking about a few early adopters here. A massive 3/4 of all firms are now actively using this tech. This isn't on the horizon anymore. It's a mainstream movement that is fundamentally changing how businesses get work done.
Okay, fine, it's popular, but is it actually worth the money? Well, the data is pretty clear on that one. Nearly 3/4 of companies that deploy this tech see a positive return on their investment within the very first year. This isn't just a cool trend, it's a rock-solid business strategy.
And what's really interesting is how this breaks down across different jobs. Of course, you see huge gains in technical fields like data science and engineering. They're saving well over an hour a day. But look, communications pros and other roles are right behind them. It's truly a tide that's lifting all boats. All right, let's bring this all home with a real-world example I think you'll love: the zero inbox system.
With this, an AI agent doesn't just sort your email. It understands it. It figures out what's urgent and pings you on Slack with a reply already drafted. It bundles up your normal emails into a neat little digest for you. And all those newsletters, they get summarized and filed away automatically. Your AI agent is literally managing your inbox for you. Now that is agentic AI in action.
So the biggest takeaway here is this. This isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. This isn't a 5-year plan. The agentic future has already arrived, and these tools are on the table, ready to be used right now.
So, let's just recap. The tools are mature and powerful. The universal standard connects everything, so it's easy to get started. And the data absolutely proves the return on investment. The only real question left is the one you see right here. What will you build?